Good day, year 8. Today we're going to do some number, place, value, and rounding numbers to the closest decimal places. This is Saving Grace Homeschool. My name is Ingrid and I'll be your teacher today. Let's jump right in. Okay, so the learning objective of today is to round numbers to a given number of decimal places. The success criteria is to recall the key rounding rules, to apply the key rounding rules to round any number to the nearest whole number, tenth, hundred, or thousand, and to apply understanding to problem-solving questions. Okay, let's quickly just give a simple example of what is rounding. So if I have a value of 44 and I have to round it to the closest 10, then I will go to 40, or it will go to 50. Okay. So when I want to round this number, I want to round 44. If it is lower, if the number before the 10 is lower than 5, then it will go to the lower value of 40. If it is 45 and higher, it will move to 50. If it is like 44.9999 or 98, then it will go 48.9, 44.98. It's still lower than the 5, therefore it will go to 40. If it is 43, it will go to 40. If it is 48, it will go to 50. Okay, so let's do some exercises regarding that. Okay, so rounding matchup madness. Match up each question to its answer. There are some red herrings, so be careful which answer you choose. A red herring because it's going to make you confused. Okay, let's look at the first yellow block. They give us the closest, they ask us 294 rounded to the nearest 10. Okay, so if you round to the nearest 10, you are going to look at the 1 value. You want to know where 9 is going. It is lower than 5, therefore it will go down to 90. So the value is 290. Okay, let's see the next question. We have 2,451. They want us to round it to the nearest 100. Okay, so the nearest 100 is this 4, so we look at the value of 5. Because it's 5, we will say that it will go higher. That means that we will get 2,000. The 4 will change to a higher value. Therefore, it will become 2,500. Let's spot the 2,500. Oh, here it is. Okay, then it will be over there. That is your value. Oops. Make it a little bit neater if I can. Let's go to the next one. 10,982. Rounded to the nearest 10. Okay, so the 10 value is the 8. We look at the previous value, which is the 2. The 2 is smaller than 5. Therefore, it will go down. So it will stay 10,980, which is right next to it. There we go. Okay, for the next one, 45,849 to the nearest 100. We're going to look at the 8 is going to change or stay the same. We look at the previous value, which is 40. It's trying to catch you because it's 49, but it's still lower than 5. Therefore, the 8 will stay the same. So it's 48,800. Ooh, where is this one? It's not that one. Where is it? Oh, it's all the way up here. Now I'm making a little bit of a mess on this page. Okay, here we have two more. 84,449 to the nearest thousand. Okay, the thousand is this value over here. Will it go up or will it go down? We look at the previous value. Is it larger or equal to 5? No, it's not. It's smaller. Therefore, it stays the same. That means that it becomes 84,000. Where's our 84,000? It's all the way over here. Okay. Then 102,982 to the nearest 10. We look at the 10 value. Will it change? Look at the value before it. Is it 5 or higher? No, it's not. Smaller, therefore it stays the same. So it stays at 102,980. Oh, wow. We've got two of the same questions. Okay, so that's just how we're going to round in. It's a little bit madness. Okay, so now you know how to do rounding. You just look at the value that needs to go up or down, and then you look at the value before it. If it's 5 or higher, it will go a value up. If it's lower than 5, then it will go a value. It will stay the same. Okay, so now they matched up it all. Don't have to go into detail about it. The red herrings was the numbers that was trying to confuse you. Don't worry, you weren't confused, right? Okay. If the red herrings have been rounded to the nearest 100, what were the smallest and largest numbers they could have been? Okay. We want to, let's round them up to the nearest 100. First, let's identify. We have a 300, a 400, a 0, and an 850. Okay. So we have to guess what is the smallest number or the largest number they could have been. So if we look at 300, let's just look at that. It was rounded to the nearest 100. So what was the largest value it could have been to get to 300? It could have been 349. That's the largest value it could have been to get it to 300. The smallest value it could have been, to round it to the nearest 100, you go a step lower, and that is 250. If we round 250 to the nearest 100, it will become 300. If you round 349 to the nearest 100, it would have become 349. Okay, I can do one more. Let's do 11,000. Okay, so if we look at 11,000, the largest value it could have been to get to 11,000. So this was a 0. So we would have kept it at 11,000, and the nearest, and if it had to go lower, it would have been 11,049. If it was the smallest value, it would have gone to 10,950, which would have brought it up to 11,000. Okay, let's move on. What are the rounding rules? Sometimes we do need to give a specific answer. When we give people information about a number, it may be appropriate to give a general idea of its size. So that's estimation, rounding, approximation. For example, if you want to know the distance from my house to school, it is exactly 10.487 kilometers. But we will probably only need to know what's the approximity. So it's around 10 kilometers. So here is the distance from your home to the school. I lived a lot closer to school. Okay, there are two key rounding rules which you need to remember. If the deciding digit is smaller than 5, we will round it down. And if the deciding number is larger than 5, we will round it up. Okay. So round 4.6 to the nearest whole number. There are two approaches we can use for rounding a decimal to the nearest whole number. We can use number line to help us decide. So here's a number line. So if 4.6 is closer to 5, and if we round up to 4.6 to the nearest whole number, we will get 5. So you will see that 4.6 is closer to 5 than to 4. That means we move it up to 5. This is not the easiest way to do it or the quickest way to do it, because then you have to draw a whole line and put all the points in, be very specific. Yeah. The second approach is a lot better. So use place value grid. Step 1, identify the column where you are being asked to round. So they want to know the closest whole number. So you're going to look at the number before that, which is 6. So we are, yeah. So step 2, look at the right digit and column to the right of 4, the 10th column. Ask yourself, is this deciding digit smaller or bigger than 5? Smaller or bigger and equal to 5? Obviously, 5, 6, 6 is bigger. So the 10th digit, so it must be round up, so it will become 5. This looks a little bit more technical, but it's a lot easier than drawing a whole picture. Okay, decimal places. What do we mean by a decimal place? Decimal places refer to the position of the digit to the right of a decimal point. So if you say 5.8, the point in the middle is the decimal point. We can get 5.8225 and go on and on and on. Then we can say, okay, I want to know the third decimal point. So we're going to look at, so the first decimal point is 8, second is 2, and the third is 2. We wanted to round it to the third closest decimal point. Then we look at the fourth one. It's at 5. So if we want to round it to the closest decimal, third decimal point, we will say it's 5.8 to the 2. The next 2 will become 3. Okay. So what is meant by one decimal place? When we say that a number has one decimal place, we mean that it has one digit to the right of the decimal point. Then 2 decimal or 3 decimal. When we say that the number has 2 decimal places, we mean that it has 2 digits to the right of a decimal point, and the same for 3. Then it will have 3 digits to the right of the decimal point. Okay, rounding to one decimal place. Okay, we have 8.24. We want to round it to one decimal. Step 1, you identify the column where you are being asked to round. So they want to know one decimal point, so it means it's a tenth. Okay, so we are asked to round to one decimal place. So place your finger on the 10th column, which is this. I'll make a little line on it to help you out. Now look at the digit and column to the right of the 2, the hundreds column. So we look at the 4. We want to round this value, so we look at the value before that. And now you ask yourself, is the deciding digit smaller or greater or equal to 5? So the digit is smaller than 5, so we must round down. And then that means that 8.24 rounded to one decimal point is 8.2. Okay, let's do another one. This one is a little bit tricky. They want to round 4.99 to 1 decimal place. Step 1, identify the closest, the 10th, we have 9 that we want to know. In step 2, look at the right of the column. Is it higher or equal to 5? Definitely higher. That means that this 9 will put 1 extra here. So if you put 1 extra 10th, it will become a 10. That means that 4 will become 5. And the answer will be 5.0. Okay, let's see another one. We want to know for the round 9.482 to 2 decimal places. Okay, so 2 decimal places. Here's 1, 2, so we go to the closest. 100. And look at this guy. Okay. Identify the column. And then you look at the digit and the column to the right of 8. The thousandth column, is it higher or smaller? Is it higher or equal to 5 or smaller than 5? It's higher. Therefore, the 100th will go 1 step higher. And it must round up. So 9.487 will be rounded with to 2 decimal points to 9.49. Okay, now they want us to round to the closest 3 decimal places. We have 5.8432. Identify the column you are asked to round. That will be 3. Then you look at the digit and column to the right of the 3, then the 10,000 column. Is it higher than 5 or is it lower than 5? You can see 2 is lower than 5. Therefore, it will stay exactly the same. That will be 5.8432 rounded to 3 decimal points is 5.843. Okay, how many numbers can you round correctly in 1 minute? Rounding quick fire round. Okay, you have to round all these numbers. Round the following to the nearest whole number, and then round the following to the 1 decimal place, and then round to 2 decimal places. Okay, so when you're ready, do you have a piece of paper? Do you have a pen? Are you ready to go? I will set the timer to 1 minute. Ready, set, go. 20 seconds. 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so how many did you get? I can quickly do, let's see how many I can do in 1 minute with you guys. I'm going to put the timer in. Let's see how many I can do. Let me just get my pen ready. Ready, set, go. very rough. Ooh. $113.6. I can't even get to this one. 3 point. I only did 2 columns. Okay, I hope you guys did better than I did. Just stop this timer. Okay, so I hope you guys, I'm going to give you all the answers now to the second one. So we have 3.1, 3, 8.9, 0.90, 4.74, 12.99, 13.01, oh no, 0.10, 56.99, 56.99, and then 104.68. Okay, check if you have these guys correct. For this one, we want to 3 places, so we have 2.905, 10.409, 17.843, 101.479, 214.56, 0.70, 315.679, and then we have 410.000. Okay, hope you guys can do this. It's all about exercise. The faster you can do it, the better. But if you can do it in the first place, it's already a very good thing. Okay, so here's all the answers. Pause the video and check it. Okay, what number am I? My 10th digit is odd. I round up to 18 when I am rounded to the nearest whole number. So we know it's 18 is our number that we work with. I have no digit in the hundredths column. So there is a hundredths column. This is the 10th column. We don't know. We know the second column is 0. Okay. And there are no digits to the right of the hundredth column. Okay, so it's 0, 0. So we have 18 point something. So when our 10th number is an odd number, so the odd number, we know to round to 18, we have to have anything. So what is the largest value it can be? It can be 18.4 and lower. That will give us 18. And then also for the lowest number, we can get 17.5. Okay. Now they say the 10th digit is an odd number, so it can't be 4. Let's write down the next value. That's 18.3. And the value after that, 18.2, 18.1. Okay, so we know that it's an odd number, so it cannot be 18.4. And it cannot be 18.2. Then for 17.5, we also get 17.6, 17.7, 17.8, and 17.9. We also know that it's not the odd number, so it's not 17.6 and it's not 17.8. So the possible values that it can be is 18.3, 18.1, 17.5, 17.6, and 17.9. Here's another thing I didn't. It was rounded up. So it had to be lower than 18. So these are the only values. See, you have to read very well and with concentration. Best way I can say is that you always mark the question when you see something like round up, you know that it's lower. And if you say, then you mark all the things that is important. Okay, let's move on. So here's another challenge. I am larger than 8. To the nearest whole number, I round up and not down. So it's larger than 8, so it must be 8 point something. Okay, let's highlight it. I am larger than 8. So we can make a little note. We can say it must be 8.8 about larger than 8. 8 is smaller. The nearest whole number I round up to and not down. So it means it goes up. My unit digit is odd, but my 10th digit is even. Okay, so if it's an odd number, we can try 9. I have a hundredths value, but not a thousandths. So we don't know the 10th digit and we don't know the hundredths digit. But we do know that that digit is 0. Okay. So how do we calculate this? To the nearest whole number, I round up and not down. So I think it can be 9 because it's also an odd number. My unit digit is odd, so that's odd, but my 10th digit is even. So we have 9 point what? It cannot be 5 because that's an odd number. It can be 6. And then I have a hundredth value, but not a thousandth. So this can be any value. Okay, so it can be 9.8 something, and it can also be 9 point, no, that's, in these values can be anything from 1 to 10. Okay, let's see what's the answer. Okay, they don't give the answer. I'll give you the answers. So the different values that it can be is 9 point, okay, it has to be 9 point something. It must be lower than 10. So there's a lot of values that can be. So let's say it's 9.61. It can also be 9.62, 9.63, etc., etc. Then it can also be 9.81, 9.2, 9.82. Then it goes on like that. There's a lot of values that it could be. Saying that it's larger than 8, it can also be 11 point something. Okay, so there's a lot of values that you can find over here. It's not one specific, but this helps you think a little bit more about finding the answers yourself. Okay, that's the end of the lesson. I hope you guys learned a lot. You know how to round up or down. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Goodbye.